Good morning, everyone. So it is 10 after 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm a little bit later than usual. The sky is starting to turn it's not the dark blue right now. It's more of a light gray. So it is going to lighten up here pretty quick. Let me kind of lower you maybe and see how we need to set up. I've been reading, I spent quite a bit of time this morning talking with my sister, and then after that, I got on and I've been reading the messages on yesterday's video. I've read them all. I've responded to some of them. I haven't responded to all of them yet because I realized that the morning was getting long in the tooth, and I figured I would come on. So, my head's been kind of in a fog, and I probably haven't said the last couple of days that the healing intentions are always set for you folks, but they're always set for you folks. Always. That's the energy, the umbrella over the whole channel. That's the whole reason why this channel was set up all those years ago. And so, yeah, they're always set for you folks. And also, I probably haven't said don't follow links and stuff. Links and emails in the comments section of the channel. Don't do that. Those would be scammers. Always be aware of scammers. My head's just kind of been, you know how it is, you guys. So I just want to thank you guys all again for the love and the support. And I was reading this morning. I guess I also haven't been saying the date, but today is November 13th. The month that we call November, the date that we call the 13th, the day that we call Thursday, in the year that we call 2025. And, yeah, I've been reading the comments, and so many of you have lost so many as well. And grief is hard because the world wants us to not do it. We make people uncomfortable when we're grieving, and also we want to grieve privately often. You know, we just need that private time to grieve, and it's different for everybody. And people tend to tell you how you should grieve. I always get a kick out of that from people who haven't really lost anybody significant to them yet, telling me how I should or shouldn't grieve. I just think to myself, you know, forgive them. They know not what they say. But just know, for all of you that are suffering pain and loss and heartache and are in the process of grieving, my heart is with you. You just don't become an old pro at it. I have lost so many, and it started so young. And, you know, like one of you was saying on the channel, it's not just the people, it's our animals too. And it is. The animals are our family, and, you know, we love these little buggers. They come into our lives and they just fill our lives with so much joy and love and affection, and they love us unconditionally. And when we lose them, it's devastating, and their lives, unfortunately, just are never long enough. It's everything we love, and they all take a piece of our heart with them. And you would think that eventually you have no heart, but your heart just expands, I guess, and keeps growing for every love that you allow into it. And it's the price we pay for love is pain. And someday someone will feel that for us as well when we leave. But what a gift that we've loved so deeply that things hurt so badly when they're gone. It's a gift that we've had people and animals in our lives that have filled our hearts so full of love, and we've known that love, that when they leave, we feel that emptiness and that pain. It's a world of contrast. It's beautiful and amazing and ugly and terrible all at once. And we're just learning how to walk hand in hand with it simultaneously with a bit of grace. And it's not always easy to do. So we all need to give ourselves a little bit of grace during the process. All right, you guys, let's get started, huh? Someone reminded me that one of the things that we were going to look at is what people call the lands beyond the ice wall. So, I think we need to be specific in our asking, right? Like yesterday I said, did we legitimately get that many votes? And the universe said, yeah, legitimately there were that many votes that were counted. But then we go on to find that the votes were manipulated, right? There were people that were not, that shouldn't have been voting, and, you know, other things going on. So it's always, the universe is so literal. I really work to be very specific, but I'm just human. And our highest self, our creator, and our guides, our spiritual team, they don't have all this ego. So even when we think we're being really clear, sometimes our ego messes with the words, right? Or sometimes we don't even really have the right words, I think. So it's just interesting, you know, working to get the clearest message from the most precise questions that we possibly can. So the first thing, I guess, that I'm gonna ask, we'll start this out. And of course, know that I'm always talking to my team about these questions, so they're aware of what it is that we're going for before we start, right? But we have been told that, and shown through movies, right, that there is this ice wall. And they leave that very mysterious, right? Oh, there's this ice wall and there are lands beyond. And possibly that is what you're considering to be, I hate saying alien, because if you are from the earth, you would not be alien to it, right? So it wouldn't matter if you were beyond the ice wall. You would still be of the earth. So it wouldn't be an alien, you know? Let's see. So we have been told, and we have been programmed through theater and movies, that there is an ice wall, and that there are lands beyond the ice wall, and that those lands beyond that ice wall hold things that we're not privy to here on the part of the earth that we live on. What I want to know, first and foremost, with one card, please and thank you, from the universe, only the truth is welcome here. The narrative that we've been told about an ice wall and lands beyond that ice wall Is it true? Is it true what we have been programmed with via movies, what we have been told via narratives about an ice wall and lands and beings beyond that ice wall? Please and thank you. So let's start there with one card. Trying to shuffle. I notice my thumb's patched and got some major inflammation going on this morning, you guys. So my shuffling might be a little hindered by that. All right, so please and thank you. With one card, only the truth is welcome here. Have what we've been programmed with via theater, movies, narratives, about an ice wall and lands beyond it here on this earth plane. Is there truth to that? Please and thank you. With one card. Let's cut them 3 times. My hands are sticking. I don't know why. I felt like I needed to do it different. So the 8. I wish you could see. It's starting to lighten up. We got the 8. So the 8 is a higher perspective, and we're on point, on path, walking down this path in the dark, alone, a little afraid. It's a little scary. They want to talk to us. So let's do it. It's a 7. Sorry. My eyes are not the best, and the lighting is dim. 7. So seek the truth, seek the knowledge. There we go, from a higher perspective. So with that 7 of rods in this Deviant Moon deck, I really wish that you guys could see it. It's one of my favorite cards. 7 is always seek truth, seek knowledge. Okay? Now, this card, what it represents to me, because I read intuitively, not traditionally, right? So she's walking down, it's a curved road. So you got to watch your step. It's curvy. She's just young, maybe 12, alone at night in the dark with only a sliver of a moon. So hardly any light to see. I mean, it's really dark. So dark, in fact, that she's got her hands out in front of her, kind of feeling her way. But all around her, the physical journey is bloomed. Those rods around her are in full bloom. So it's my on point, on path card. But it feels very scary. The path is bloomed, but it feels scary. So in regards to how we're being answered, is there truly an ice wall and lands beyond it? Have we been told the truth around it? I would say we're on point and on path, like there's some truth to this story, but we've been given narratives perhaps in this physical journey that are not true and might seem a little intimidating or scary in order to keep us maybe away from it. But the path of this ice wall and the lands beyond would be a full-bloomed path. So maybe not as scary as people have been told or think. I don't really know all the narratives around it. I'll be honest with you. My life doesn't really... Like, I find all of this stuff interesting, but in the bigger scheme of things, I don't give too much of a care about it, honestly. And this is why. Because I feel like if I'm here creating my world, I need to focus on the world that I want to create. And the ice wall and what's beyond it isn't directly impacting my journey here. It's just a narrative, or it's a thing out there that I am not experiencing. So I don't put a lot of energy into that, though I find things very curious and interesting. I just kind of figure if I incarnated here doing this thing, that's what I'm meant to be here doing. Do you know what I mean? So I don't get too caught up in that stuff. Like, I honestly don't care if the world is flat or if it's round. That doesn't really impact me. What I find important is the imprint that I leave here in this world with the journey that I'm having. And so I like to focus on that more than these other things because I don't find them to be of all that much importance, honestly, in my own journey. Now, that's not to say that I don't find it all very interesting. And I did a reading on flat Earth and the flat Earth theory and the globe theory a long time ago. And I call them both theories. I remember I had one person get on and say, it's not a theory, it's been proven that the Earth is a globe. And I said, well, it hasn't been proven to me. Like, I know that's what people have said, but it doesn't mean that that's been proven to me. I haven't gone out into space and flown all the way around the Earth to ensure that it's a globe. So for me personally, no, that's not proven. But obviously they just take what's given to them as fact. But I'm just not one of those people, right? What I got in that reading was that it's not really one or the other. And that I got that it's a living, growing entity. And it would be more globe-like, but not the way we've had it presented to us, and that there's many facets to it. And there's a lot about this earth that is beyond our comprehension because we haven't yet had the contrast. So that's what I got. And, anyone can take from that what they will, but that's what I got in that reading all that time ago. So it's just interesting, and yeah, it's just interesting. So we're on a point, we're on a path where we've learned about an ice wall and lands beyond it. And it would seem as though there is knowledge to gain and knowledge to seek with the 7, you guys. The journey on the other side of this ice wall would be a bloomed journey. So yeah, lands that have life in full bloom. But the path to get there might be a little scary. Like, it might not be as easy to access as one might think. And we do know that if what we're being told is true, that that's a heavily guarded, protected area. You will have like military or whoever come out and stop you from going too far. And we do know that there's been this pact, this treaty with all of these countries saying they're not allowing us there. So we obviously know things are being hidden. That when you're awake and aware, you know that there wouldn't be that much security if there wasn't something that they were keeping from us, right? So we're being validated that there is something beyond that ice wall. And the path of it, it's to get there would be a bit scary. They're saying keep seeking truth and knowledge. So there's stuff out there, keep learning. And it looks to me like the life there on the other, beyond that ice wall, it would be a enriched, full journey with all of those blooms on those rods. So let's take a look and see if I've interpreted this correctly. Want to make sure, because this is a very interesting reading. I hope you're all having a beautiful morning. All the snow melted yesterday. We didn't get much, but it was pretty while it was sitting there. We have a pretty decent frost out there this morning. So am I interpreting the card correctly, please and thank you? I always get confused when I cut the cards because I've always done the 3 cuts, 1 in the middle, and every now and again I get the, don't do it that way. And I'm like, my ego wants to jump in and say, no, do it that way, Lori. But if I'm getting that pull not to do it that way, I have to follow that pull, right? It doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does. All right, we're going to cut the cards 3 times and see if I'm interpreting this answer correctly. And then we're going to let you give a little 7-card spread story around that. So yes, with the Queen of Cups, I'm interpreting this correctly. And with the Queen of Cups, don't forget, you guys, this is a very emotional, good feeling card. It can be, or she can be a cold bitch too. But in regards to the questions that we're asking and the answers that we're looking for, that would be, I am interpreting this correctly. The secondary message with this would be, those lands beyond are a feel-good place where the cup overflows. So if there is life there, the emotional intelligence of the life living there is, they're much more emotionally intelligent than we are here, okay? They do have a higher perspective. They are coming from a more heart-centered space than all of we 3D people here, scrambling about, being shitty to each other, stuck in our egos, crying victim, worrying about money and greed and power and control, and who's prettier and who's thinner, and all the stupid things that humans tend to be caught up in for whatever the reason. These people living beyond the ice wall, in those lands beyond, are much more emotionally intelligent, spiritually full, coming from a much more heart-centered space than all of us as a society here. And their cup does overflow. So a lot of compassion and love there. So with that, now I'm going to say, before I do the 7-card spread, can you, with 1 card, give us sort of just with 1 card, the character of the lands beyond, a description, if you will. We'll start with 1 card to lead with like a description of the lands beyond. And then we'll get a 7-card spread, please and thank you. Honestly, as I think about this, we're here, right, experiencing this. But I wouldn't be a bit surprised that we hadn't also incarnated there and experienced that, because our souls want to experience everything. It's our soul's growth, and yeah, we grow through experience. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we've incarnated over there. And maybe the longing for the knowledge about it is because the soul remembers. The soul remembers being in this place where it's more heart-centered and emotionally intelligent, and not based so much on destruction like we are here, And our souls remember that, and we long for that. Because when we agreed to incarnate here, it's like, oh shit, life's a struggle from the beginning to end. It's a beautiful struggle, but it's a struggle. I mean, there's a lot to be grateful for, and there's much beauty around us, and there's so much wonder in this world, but, this world that we're living in is so based on material. Like, we have to have money to survive, to eat, to feel warmth, to have a roof over our head, to be able to pay the bills so that we can do all of these things just to survive. So it's a struggle, for most of us. I realize some people were born into old money and they don't struggle in that particular way. But believe me, money doesn't mean that you don't have problems. Money doesn't mean that you don't feel suffering, pain, hardship. It's just their problems might be different than ours, right? Imagine if you had all this money and you never knew if somebody liked you for your money or not. At least with me, I've never had a pot to piss in, really. And people either like me or hate me for who I am. So that's a good thing. I don't have to worry about why somebody might be wanting to be my friend, or claiming they like me, or claiming they love me. And that's something that people that have a lot really have to get really good at discerning. So anyway, I'm babbling, you guys. So with one card, let's take a look. How would you describe with one card? Give us a bit of a description, and then we'll lay a 7-card spread for the story, please and thank you. With one card, how would we describe the lands beyond? Well, we have the Page of Swords. So let's think of that. So the page is fresh. So it's a beautiful, fresh energy. It's fresh. So when I think of that, I think of lush green grass and plants and animals and a cleanliness, a freshness to that. We have the Page of Swords, which is a very psychic card. He has the ability to know clearly. He holds his vibration, his sword up straight, right? And he has this little device that helps him to see clearly. So I would say when we had that, the other card, they're emotionally more intelligent over there. It's a fresh, abundant place. It's a high vibrational place. Our brothers and sisters over there living in these lands beyond would have a much higher vibration than us, a higher frequency, much more tapped into their psychic abilities, which only makes sense because the more emotionally intelligent we become, our psychic abilities really do open up, right? It's a heart-centered thing. So very emotionally intelligent we've gotten so far. Their cups overflow. The lands there are fresh and abundant. We saw that with the bloomed journey. It's a higher vibration, probably a lot more technology, higher frequency technologies there. More psychic, the people there more tapped into their psychic abilities. Also very courageous and noble beings living in this beautiful, higher frequency, more heart-centered, emotionally intelligent, fresh, lush, vibrant place. Well, and they would have to be, right? If you think about that, you guys, if you put the idiots that we've got running around over here in a beautiful, fresh space like that, what would they want to do? They'd want to rape it. They'd want to rape the resources. They'd want to, what can we make from this? How can we earn money from these resources, from this lushness? How can we basically prostitute it and rape it? And that's what we've done here. And I'm not saying everybody has that mindset, but This is the society that we live in. And so in order for those lands to be what we're getting that they are, the people there would have to be more heart-centered and of a higher frequency, so that they're seeing things from a higher perspective and a more spiritual place than this 3D greed power dynamic that we're living in our space, right? So if you think about that, it's no wonder they don't want us there. Honestly, think about that, right? It's like with me, I don't have much, but what I have, I take care of and I love. I put my love into it. So I take care of my home. I get up and I clean, and I put love and attention into my home. I fill my home with love, and then it can feed me and take care of me. It's a symbiotic relationship. So I don't want someone coming here and staying with me that would punch holes in my walls, leave dirty dishes scattered around, leave crumbs all over the floor and on my couch, not respect what is nurturing me, which my home is nurturing me. It has protected me and covered me and sheltered me for many, many years. And I wouldn't want someone coming here shitting it up. You know what I mean? And so why would they want any of us going over there? We're probably not considered emotionally intelligent enough and emotionally mature enough to be invited into that just yet. Right? We have some learning and some growing to do, probably. But sounds like a wonderful place so far, and I can't blame them for not wanting us there, honestly. So let me take a sip of my coffee. I put coconut oil in my coffee every day because I have a thyroid problem, right? I'm hypothyroid, I have Hashimoto's, and coconut oil is really good for that. And I'm not medicated. I used to take T3 for my thyroid years ago, and it was a big help, but it also causes a lot of side effects and problems. So I haven't been medicated for my thyroid for a long time. And if I don't drink my coffee fast enough, it starts to turn hard in there again, and it congeals. So let me get a good gulp of my coffee. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's starting to congeal. And that'll be kind of icky. All right, so thank you so far for the information around the lands beyond. Can I please have a 7-card spread? Now, with a bit of a story, what would you like to inform all of us here on this channel about when we're thinking of, talking about, imagining what those lands beyond would be like? Can you give us a true story, the pathway of the lands beyond, and the story around it? I might have to rearrange the camera once I do this. We'll see, okay, you guys? It's about 6:45 right now. I've been on here 33 minutes, I think. My eyes, I need new glasses, you guys. I got these glasses in 2020, and I needed new ones 2 or 3 years later, and I haven't done it. It's just such a stupid problem to have. It's so expensive, and your teeth and your eyes, I mean, all healthcare, right? It's really awful. So expensive. All right, so one more shuffle, and we'll get a 7-card spread, please, and thank you. Look at this. I'll arrange them. I'll just get them laid, okay? And let me push them up. Does that allow you to see that? Let me go like this. Let me back just a little bit. Get another sip of my coffee. This is interesting. This is a very interesting story. Let me start with the pathway. Our pathway. The energy that pushes this entire reading, this story, is the Seven of Pentacles. And that is my Tree of Life card, okay? So that is the energy that pushed the pathway to these lands beyond. And it's the energy that also pushes the story. Does that make sense? So we have the energy pushing this entire story is my Seven of Pentacles. And that's my Tree of Life. And that's a bleeding tree. That's a damaged tree. And that's the earth plane and all of its assets. Now, that tree is bleeding. It's damaged. It's hurting. It's wounded. And this girl goes out with her love, her energy, her intentions. And she's giving this tree energy from her body through this wand to help to heal it. And it's healing, it's the Tree of Life, so it's healing everything upon this earth. Now think of the question that we've asked you guys. So we're asking about the lands beyond, and we're getting a Seven of Pentacles. So we're getting, it's all of these round pentacles represent earthly pleasures. They're all, think about this, this could be, very much could be, more than one place beyond the ice wall, 7 or more places. Do you know what I'm saying? So think of it when you think of like how many planets are there. It's the same idea. More than you know. So talking lands, seriously, lands, plural, beyond, right? So that's interesting. But what's driving this, and also with that 7, don't forget, let's just keep seeking the knowledge, right? Seeking the truth. What's interesting is that we're asking about a separation, and the energy that's driving the whole reading is that there needed to be a mending. Okay? Keep that in mind, you guys, because above that, we have the Hermit. And the Hermit has run because it was crazy and gone into a sheltering cave. That's a higher arcana card, you guys. This is big picture. All right? So, and then above that, we have the 4 of Cups. So cups are always emotional. And there had to be some thought to balance things with the 4. They had to really think about this, you guys. What could they stack up and keep? And what did they have to discard? Now, why I find this so interesting is because perhaps something big happened here on this earth plane that caused massive destruction that needed mending. And some had to run in order to get away because this, whatever was causing the damage, the destruction, people had to run and get away, like a cycle was ending here. And they had to run to get away. So think of running to the lands beyond to get away, to hide, to get away from whatever the destruction was that was impacting this earth plane, okay? And now think about having to make the tough decisions for survival on what will we stack up and keep and what will we have to discard. So perhaps we here in this section of the earth were what had to be discarded, you guys, because something happened. Something happened is what I'm getting. You know, again, this is just what I'm getting. Take from it what you will, but this is what I'm getting. Something happened on this, what we call a planet, whatever the hell you want to call it. I get that it's an entity. I've always felt that way. I've always had love for this planet. I can feel the life and the energy, right? So it's an entity. We're basically like fleas on this planet's back, honestly. And we've been very parasitical rather than symbiotic. And one of our goals, I believe, as we become more emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature and more spiritual and more high vibrational, is to learn how to have a more symbiotic relationship with this planet rather than being parasitical. But I digress. Let's get back to the reading. Something happened to cause damage. And so in order to mend what could be mended, many had to run to get away from what was going on. And choices had to be made with a heavy heart. What would be discarded and what would be stacked and kept safely. It would seem that before this damage happened, everything on this earth plane was very basic, very loving, very much like what we're hearing about these lands beyond via what we've gotten so far in the cards, okay? And it was taken care of, appreciated, and loved. Then all of a sudden, with this Two of Pentacles, something happened. We know something damaging happened through this Eight of Pentacles that created an imbalance. Okay? So the work to create a beautiful balanced place was very much there. And then all of a sudden something shifted and something went out of balance. And it left us, all the creatures on the earth, in a place where we had some of what we needed, but we were lacking some of what we needed. Because this card, she looks great, right? But she's barefoot. There are some things that she's lacking here. And the imbalance is here, right? So it took away whatever destruction there was with this Eight, took away some of the things that created the balance and the beauty. And massive chaos ensued. And I would say almost like with this card, because you have an overpowering, you have something that's come in and is creating chaos and overpowering and dominating that which is smaller. So when I look at these cards, and I'll get to this one here in just a minute. When I look at these cards and I start to mend this story together, it's almost like the disruption may have happened vibrationally for a couple of reasons. The Tree of Life cracks. So think of something happening upon the earth to create chaos. And then think of that chaos, something happening, like, let's just say, a war, a bad war, or massive earthquakes, or something that would create friction cracking, damage, bleeding, panic, where a way of life is now ending with this 9 that causes others to retreat because they went from something being beautiful and simplistic and perfect to great change through terrible chaos and some sort of an overpowering that happened here. So I'm wondering if, and then above that we have the War card, right? We have the Knight of Swords driven by air. That's a very high vibrational energy, strong energy, and it's also a war card. Now, I know it's often my white hat card, but this question does not pertain to that, you guys. So it would be almost as if there was some sort of an attack that hurt the earth a bit and created a terrible imbalance, and people had to run, beings had to run and hide and retreat, and overpowering, like a war, like something came here and tried to take over, created a war here, and many had to retreat, and it would look as though it's to the, they retreated, and this is the lands beyond, okay? And there had to be decisions of what could be accepted there and what couldn't. And something had to go. And that might be us, you guys. Right? Something had to go in order to heal this and build this back. And so that's what I'm getting, you guys. This is how I'm interpreting this. So am I on the right track? Please and thank you. And they went into hiding. With that Hermit card, many went into hiding. That's a 9. That's big picture. So I would say with that Hermit that most everything that lived upon the earth plane to begin with, most everything went into hiding. Most everything was stacked up, went into hiding. There was great caretaking, and only a little was discarded and had to go. I think that's us. So am I interpreting that correctly, please? What I mean by us is this part of the world, this part of the earth plane, our species, what we are here as a society. Am I understanding what you're saying? Please and thank you. One more shuffle. Yes, I am understanding what they're saying. Now, I want you to know with this Lover's card, it's big picture. And so the universe is saying, this was done with love. Don't think that this part of the world was discarded or moved out from a place of hate. This was done with great love, okay? It was done out of a necessity. With the Lover's card, there was pain in that. There was great focus, okay? Because with this card in this deck, there's a great focus going on. And they did feel the pain of the bite to have to leave us behind. there was a decision made, but they felt the pain of it. Okay? So they are our brothers and sisters over there. They're much more emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature, very tapped into their psychic abilities and their energies. They have created a world. Again, the mending is still taking place, you guys. They're still mending, maybe even working to mend us, okay? They are creating that semblance of balance. It was with great pain that a portion could not be saved, had to be like, I don't want to say thrown out, but it had to be almost surrendered. It was like, we can't save this, but we can save all of this, and this is heartbreaking because something very destructive happened that created this into being, this separation, okay? So that's what I'm getting. Take from it what you will. But know that this was done. There's love there, and they felt the pain of it, okay? So my next question is, I would say that they're looking over us then. They love us. They felt the pain of having to almost like separate from us. We sort of devolved or possibly were taken over and they couldn't save us. And that's what we're living in, the energy that took over and now rules this place on the planet. Do you guys know what I'm saying? I'm asking you guys because I know my guides know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the dark energies that are here that influence so many, right? And it was with pain that they left, that they had to leave this, like this had to be given, surrendered, or couldn't save it or whatever. And so I'm thinking they probably look over us, love us, and are actually aiding or trying to aid us somehow in our evolution so that maybe someday we can actually all come together again and they would not need to be protected by, they would not need to be protected from us. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to ask, is that correct? Are they looking over us because we got the great love and, you know, hoping for our evolution emotionally and spiritually and energetically? Do they watch over us still with love and pain for, you know, what they couldn't do for us, for how we're sort of devolved babies. Yeah, are they looking over us? Please and thank you. Oh gosh, yes, you guys. The Ace of Cups, that's a plain and simple yes. They gave us the Ace of Cups because that's the heart space, that's the love. So our brothers and sisters from the land beyond love us. It was with a great deal of pain that we were separated from them. And they are looking over us with love and wanting our growth and aiding us, trying to assist us however they can in this journey that we're on. And is the hope one day that we evolve enough. I'm going to pick this card up. And that we grow enough, our hearts, that our egos are tamed and set aside a bit so that we're not so egoic, and that we've healed and become emotionally more mature and emotionally intelligent, and our vibrations have lifted and our spiritual awareness has opened, so that we become a society that would be considered safe to bring back into the lands beyond, and we could all share this space knowingly and lovingly again together. Is that the goal? Please and thank you. Ten. They want to talk a little bit more. So the 10, the secondary message to this 10 of rods is that we're living a dead life. The journey here, our journey is like just no life in our journey. There's no life in this journey. And so until we learn how to be one with this planet and one with each other and become as civilized as they are, then there's no chance that we can be let back into the fold. And so, how long have I been on? I've been on almost an hour. And that's just the way of it. So let me ask this, you guys. We know that our governments around the world have made this pact, this treaty, that we're not allowed there. Now we know that the people from the lands beyond, the beings from the lands beyond, love us. We've gotten a story about how the separation happened. But we also believe that our governments, we believe this to be true. We don't know if it is, because we only know, what we've personally experienced. That's the only thing that we can check off and mark as absolute truth, right? Everything else is just a narrative that we've been told, a story we've been told, propaganda we've been fed, whether there's truth in it and lies in it, whether there's just truth in it, whether there's just lies in it, we don't really know. So we've been told that our governments are doing things there. And we've been told, we have reason to believe that our governments are doing nefarious things there. So is there a quiet war raging that we don't know about between the world governments doing nefarious things there and the beautiful loving beings from the lands beyond? Please and thank you. With one card. So the answer to the original question, this card wanted to kind of tip, so I took it. So the answer to the original question would be yes, there is a quiet war going on. Power dynamics, power struggles with the moon. But the moon's going to reveal the things that have been going on with our governments. And the secondary message to this is, even though our governments are going in and trying to do shit, there's a great deal of control that is happening to puppet them some. Like, the governments don't have, our world governments don't have as much control over there. And so though there's this quiet war raging, there are puppets that are being puppeted in this. And the moon's going to reveal all of this eventually. But the other card that wanted to fall out is deals being made simplistically. So even though we have crappy people in our world governments that have done nefarious things and tried to get in there and control things, they're not powerful enough. The people from the lands beyond have more power, more control. But there are good people within our governments with this 4 that are actually making deals peacefully, simplistically, that are good, you guys. So good things are happening there, but yes, there are nefarious things happening there, and there has to be a level of control there. You know, the people from the lands beyond are still in war mode, fight mode. So, and until we shape up over here, we cannot be part of it, though deals are being made to create something good. So I'm just going to do a little tiny conversation, and then I'm going to get off here. So can you just give us a little bit more of a conversation around that? Around the deals being done for the good, the pathway. We'll just do a pathway. Please and thank you. So not all the world leaders are bad, and some of them are doing good things, working with them to do good things, you guys. And yeah, there's still a lot of bad. So it's still an active war, and until we shape up over here, we can't be allowed to be part of it. They don't want us tainting things any more than what they're having to deal with world powers. So that's interesting. Again, this is just what I'm getting. Take from it what you will. Toss the rest. That's how we do it. So let's take the pathway. Please and thank you. Give us a little pathway of the deals that are good that are being done. Please and thank you. Oh, there's more of that. I'll take it. Simplistic. All right. So they want you to know good things are being done to bring the world back into balance, the work to create the balance, to create the simplicity. Okay? But we're being judged right now, you guys. So the energy of the pathway driving it is the 9. And it's the 9 of rods. And so with the 9 of rods, you can see that there's this whole dead journey that's gone uphill behind this guy sitting there depressed, right? But there's a new journey blossoming beside him. He can't see it yet. He's too depressed about the dead journey to lift his head and see what's blooming right beside him, something brand new. So that's the energy that's driving this. So, and that's a 9. So 9 is a very humanitarian number. But it also, the humanitarian. So these people from the lands beyond are very humanitarian, okay? And the energy that's driving this pathway that we're talking about the things that the deals that they're making to do good things, to bring peace and balance back to us. It's the reason why it's being worked on quietly and hush-hush is because the energy driving the pathway to do these good things is like this total dead journey that we've been living on. Low vibrational beings can't appreciate anything of beauty. Focused more on what we've lost or what we don't have or what we want than what is. And so we're undergoing judgment. We're being watched. We're being observed in our growth. But we are undergoing a judgment here, big picture, from these higher vibrational, more heart-centered, more loving beings. And right now we are going through a great awakening. And that is part of what will bring balance back in. It's part of what I would say they're helping with vibrationally, doing some work on our behalf to kind of help to create a great awakening. But we're being looked at, we're being judged. And the reason why that is because of the devil that sits above us and the dark energies that we're allowing to guide us, and the dark things and the trickery and the things that we do here. I mean, just think about this. We're talking about beings that are incredibly spiritual, emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature, very psychic, and then they get to look at us, where you have people making a living off of scamming people, breaking into their bank accounts, taking their money, scamming them every which way but loose. You have politicians that just get into politics not for their constituents or because they care about this planet or about anything upon the planet. They just want their pockets lined with money. It's all about power and greed. We have drug abuse and drug addiction, and we have children being raped, and husbands beating their wives, and wives beating their children, and women beating on their men, and people going in and stealing just to steal, and people gossiping about people because it makes them feel better to shit on someone else rather than look at themselves or clean out their own closet. And oh, you find a resource, you find a precious gem, and let's clean out a rainforest and wipe out a whole species of animals because we're trying to figure out how we can make the most money off of this precious resource. So do you see how screwed up we are and how dark we've been living over here? You know what I'm saying? So it's not surprising that we're going through this period of judgment, and that we have to really grow as a society and a species before they'll let us back in. But they love us, and there are some good people that are doing some good things to help us as we undergo this great awakening and this judgment. And we are cared for, and it was with great pain that they separated from us. And they're hoping that we can come back into this state of being. And we do have people that are making deals and doing work to try to help create something better here, to help bring us to this place, judgment, vibration, all of this, the great awakening, to clear out this darkness. But we are only beginning that journey. And we're not able to see it yet because we're not trustworthy yet. And they're still sort of at war with any other powers that might want to do the nefarious things. So that's what I'm getting, you guys. Take from it what you will, toss the rest. That's how we do it. That's what I'm getting. Now, one of the questions that you asked, I haven't even asked that question before I get off here. I'm just going to say, and I don't think so, right? So you wanted to know, you said, are the people from the lands beyond, the beings from the lands beyond, are they what we consider higher dimensional beings. So this is what I want to say. Or something to that degree. I remember when I was reading it, it made me think of, spirit, right? Our spirit guides that are coming in literally, from very, very, very high frequency dimensions. And these are spirit, right? What our souls will go back to when we cross. So personally, in my own humble opinion, and I will check obviously, in my own humble opinion, the beings from the lands beyond would be our brothers and sisters. They're just more advanced than we are. They're more intelligent emotionally, spiritually, psychically, mentally, physically. They have more advancements because they live completely different. So are they of a higher frequency, a different frequency? In my opinion, absolutely. Do they know how to do things that we can only imagine, like portal jump and things like that? Oh, I believe that. Yes, absolutely. So I do believe that they are of a higher frequency, right? More in tune with frequency and how to use theirs and all of the frequency around them. So I'm going to ask if I'm correct in that. Is that correct? Please and thank you. With one card. Am I correct in imagining that or assuming that, believing that? That's how I imagine them to be. With one card, please and thank you. Is that correct? Yes. So that's my yes, straight up yes with an ace. And they're like incredibly nurturing. They're this is also a very loving card. I mean, look at how bloomed the journey is, how nurturing it is, how protective it is. They look after their children, they cocoon those children in love and protection. It's a very different society than what we have here, you guys. So very much of a different frequency, absolutely able to do things that we cannot, okay? So with that being said, very psychic, very in tune with nature. There's a bug on her staff. The staff is in full bloom with fire, right? Her crown is all lit up. She's protecting her loved one. Like, she has all that she needs. She's got wings. She can fly. There's a lot that she can do here. Different frequency, lots that they can do that we can't, okay? So with that, yes, they're of a much higher frequency. But in my humble opinion, when I think of the spiritual beings, the higher dimensional beings, I think of spirit, right? Those not in bodies, but of their purest essence, guiding us, healing us, agreeing to be with us here on this journey. And that, to me, is our to me, that's our highest frequency beings, our spirit guides, that not real beings from over there watching and aiding us, but these are pure essence, energy, not in a body, looking over us and guiding us. So that would be something different, right? So I'm checking to see if I'm correct in that. Please and thank you with one card. So our spiritual teams would be the soul, the essence, not a physical body, but literally spirit of those really, really high frequencies that don't have limitations because they are not incarnate in a body. Am I correct in that? Please and thank you. So we'll clear that up. With one card. One more shuffle, please and thank you, and then we'll cut them. So am I correct in that? Please and thank you. Yes, so the moon is the big picture, right? So the moon is giving us the yes. That's my yes. So our spirit guides, this is spirit of essence, not of body, that's here guiding us, right? Energies guiding us. And really, really trying to help us here on this journey. But the thing about our guides is they can try to encourage us, whisper to us, give us the signs, help us, but we actually have to listen so that we're not fumbling, bumbling fools, right? And this is something with the moon that will be revealed. If people haven't seen their energetic spirit guides yet, they probably will eventually. There will be reveals. There will be education eventually. Remember, we're being judged right now. We're going through a great awakening. We have a ways to go, according to what we're getting here. Now, the next question is, because I want to make sure that I'm covering anything that you could have asked through that question, right? Because it's vague enough so that it could apply to several things in my mind. So I'm trying to cover these several things. So now my next question would be, we have a lot of talk of beings from other planets. And I think one of the questions that she wants to clear up, let me get a sip of my coffee. Is are the beings from the lands beyond, and it looks like there are many of them, just like there could be many planets out there, right? Very interesting. Are the beings from the lands beyond what we see, or are they being confused with or said to be? Okay, this may have to be two questions to be precise. And I'm sorry that this is going long. So, have the beings from the lands beyond been spotted, hovering here, looking things over, coming in with their craft that they may move about with? Have they been spotted here from the lands beyond? Have there been eyewitness accounts of some of them? Have they been spotted here with their craft? Please and thank you. Sometimes. Have they been spotted? Please and thank you. And people have said, there's a UFO, an unidentified flying object or whatever. Has some of that been from our brothers and sisters over there from the lands beyond? Please and thank you. And now we'll cut them. Oh, there's a lot of lies, you guys. So there's a lot of lies about the spotting of things and who they might be. And it's the devil whispering this shit. And we should know better. Get into our intuition. This cycle of lies is going to end with this 9. Now, 2 cards were sticking to my fingers. So, we have the 6 of rods. Okay, not of rods, the 6 of swords. So this is technology, and we're talking about flying craft and things like that. This is the 6, so it's divine love and craft being out there, right? Know that the craft that you're seeing is coming with love, okay? Remember, there's a lot of bullshit and lies around these crafts that you're seeing, created by the devil himself, the deep state, the little demons, okay? Don't fall victim to the bullshit. And then the next thing is we have the 7. We have the 7 of cups. So this is emotional. It's feeling. The 7 is seek the wisdom, seek the knowledge, seek the truth. Never stop seeking. But know that you're not seeing the people that love you. You're not actually seeing them. They're hidden. They're behind the scenes. Okay? So what we are seeing is something from the deep state. That's what I'm getting. And we're being told narratives about it to keep us fretting. But we're not seeing the people that actually love us, that are looking over us. What we're seeing is deep state stuff. So are you trying to tell me that the space, what we call spaceships or unidentified flying objects, I've always thought this, you guys, are actually of our own making, of this government's own making, and then they give you these narratives to scare the shit out of you, to kind of direct you in a particular direction. Is that what you're telling me? That what we are seeing, it's narrative seeding, and we're not actually seeing those that are keeping an eye on us. Is that love us, we're actually not seeing those really. The stories are deep state. And that's not to say that no one has seen them, but this is like a blanketed big picture question, right? So is that what you're saying? Please and thank you. Because the people that love us and care have the ability to cloak and not be seen, you guys. They have the ability to just not be seen. So these sightings and these stories, looks like we've got the deep state trying to create a narrative to frighten people. You know? Remember, the moon's going to reveal it all, you guys. So yeah, I'm reading this correctly with the Higher Arcana card, the World. And know that we're being supported quite literally by all the magical beings here on the world. And we're being loved by all the magical beings here on the world. All of the elements love us, support us, are looking after us. They have the ability to not be seen. You're not seeing the ones that love us, that are of this high frequency. Though they do travel by air, they have the ability to cloak themselves. Our spiritual team wants you to know that many of these sightings are lies, they're narrative seedings, they're deep state stories to keep people afraid and fretting. So that's interesting. I picked up what they were saying with the world. Okay, so that's interesting. So, you know, discernment, discernment, discernment. And now I think the last question is, we have been spoken to about, there's been narratives and seeding the consciousness and pushing the consciousness in a certain direction as far as life out there, off of the earth plane, from other planets or whatever you want to call them, other living entities like our own earth, only different, out there in what we would call space. So off of the earth, off of this, out there somewhere. And I want to ask if that is true. Are all the different entities being magical beings and all of that from this one huge entity that we're all living on, sharing, but separated in a way from each other? Or do we actually have more life, even more life, out there off of this particular planet and seated on other things that we would call planet? I know I don't have the right words because we just haven't been given them, but is there not only life here on this planet, but are there other planets out there, other formations, life formations, very much like what we call Earth, that hold life? Please and thank you. With one card, please and thank you. This one wants to slip out. And we'll cut them. All right, so with the 3, there's been a lot of lies around that as well. So be very careful what we take in. And then we got the 2 that wanted to slip out. And the 2 is a harvesting. And it's like, it's the 2 of rods. So I'm wondering if there's a duplicate of the earth. And a lot of misleading around things, though some truth in this. There is the one truth that goes through the heart. But a lot of lies and misleading. So I'm going to let them give me one card, please and thank you, before I shuffle these in, that would represent, if you could, because you said, with this too, there could be like a duplicate of ours. It's interesting. But some of these places have been harvested, perhaps no longer holding life, right? And we've been misled about a lot of stuff. But there is some truth to life out there. And so let's take a look with one card, please and thank you. Could you give us one card that would best describe this? Please and thank you. Sorry, this is going to be a long one, but it's interesting, right? When we talk about life out there off of this earth plane, and you say some of them could have been harvested already. There could be a duplicate exactly like this one. Many that have abundance, more balanced. Some that are dead, done. But a lot of lies with a little truth. Give us one card, please, to best describe this. Let me also reiterate that it takes seeds. You got to plant the garlic right in order to harvest it. So maybe this planet has been seeded from many other things as well. So let's just get one card from them to describe this. 9. The genie in a bottle, feel good. Wishes come true. So if they are describing life out there, what I would gather from this, and I'll ask for confirmation, is that the life out there is a very, very, very high vibrational. What there is for life out there is very, very high vibrational. Like that's like the lands beyond are more high vibrational than us. The lands out there are super high vibrational. And we've been told a lot of lies about them, maybe a little bit of truth. With the 2, if you put this together with the 9 of Cups, the genie in a bottle, they would be perfectly balanced, perfectly abundant, and able to duplicate anything they needed to. So, and this is where we're hoping to aspire. Like, eventually, this society is as high frequency as the people from the lands beyond. And as they grow, they would be becoming more high frequency as the brothers and sisters from the lands out there, from the life out there off the planet. Am I picking up this correctly, please and thank you? With one card, please and thank you. No one wants to fall too. So we're going to get 3 cards, you guys, because they did want to fall. And I like to take what wants to fall. Okay, so the King of Cups. Yes, I've read this correctly. The King of Cups, there's always reveals there too, right? The truth always comes up from underneath the surface. And you're not going to see that because of the lighting, and I'm sorry. But this is the King of Cups. And so with the King of Cups, there's always a big reveal. Much under the surface, much to come. And it will feel good because we're talking about pretty feel-good stuff, right? So all of the bad things that we've heard and the lies that we've been told, know that these are the baddies, right? The little demons, the little minions, the deep state, the dark ones that are creating the bad stories and doing the bad things. We've been lied to a lot with a little bit of truth. There is life out there, even much more high vibrational than than the beings from the lands beyond. This will be revealed. The High Priestess says these guys are high frequency. Now you think about that with the 9, right? So I would say we're going to work our way up, right, to these higher frequencies eventually, and that will be ending the cycle. We've gone through all of the processes. This is my belief system. You don't have to believe it. I'm not trying to influence you. But we've gone through all of the being this dense society that we are. We've worked our way up to now being uh, a higher frequency, more emotionally intelligent, like the people from the lands beyond. Then we work our way back to those other places of life out there where we get really, really high frequency, very spiritual beings. And then we kind of end that cycle and we go back to being the guides, the spirit guides, the really, really high frequency ones that come in from like, that sparkle. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? To me, they sparkle. But you guys might not see them that way. That guide us, that have the experience, that then are in the essence form, that then do the work from that very high guidance place. Not from our loved ones crossed over that are running around trying to help us, but from like the spiritual teaching. The Ascended Masters, I guess, is where I'm going with that. Just took me a minute to get my words. But yeah, going back to that very, very high frequency. And yeah, the ones out there have also very symbiotic with their planets, with their, whatever you want to call them, where they live. Very symbiotic relationship, very high frequency. This will be revealed. So that's what I'm getting, you guys. All right. So I think I did have another question. Oh, okay. So before we get off, what the hell, I've been on here an hour and 36 minutes and 51 seconds. You guys can listen to this in intervals as you want, but one more question before we get off, and that is just give us a pathway of the nefarious things, the nefarious narrative, and that they've been seeding the consciousness with, like bad aliens coming to get us, and you're saying it's actually the darker energies ruling over us, the influences, the darkness saying these things. So can you give me a pathway to their, to what's going to become of those stories, those narratives, those people, those beings that don't have our highest and greatest good for intentions and have been trying to keep us low and in fear and scared and lying to us and doing things and allowing sightings and allowing things that then get put out into the public as the stories, the negative stories that we've heard. Can we get a little insight as to where that narrative's going to be going in the near future? And we're going to take that and we'll just do the pathway there. Okay, so what's going to happen with that narrative? We've got the two coming in with the rods. That narrative's going to be harvested. There's going to be some balance brought to that narrative. So we did find out that truth was going to be revealed around the lies, the manipulations, the sightings that have particular narratives, dark narratives around them. We got that there's going to be a lot of reveals there. We got that those that love us and care about us and are of a higher frequency have no problem cloaking themselves and we'd never see them, right? So if we're seeing things, it's only because the deep state is kind of wanting us to, is what I'm getting, okay? So what's going to happen of this narrative? Well, there's going to be balance brought back into that. There are deals being made to bring forth the simplistic truth of things. That narrative's going to be swallowed. The old narrative will be swallowed up. We'll all be rejoicing from what we find out. There is a death and a rebirth happening right now We're very immature. We've been taught wrong. And so we're going to be moved out of the way, step back, so that death can put a death to the old way that we've been taught, the narratives that have been seeded, the things that we've been manipulated into thinking, believing, taking on as ideologies. We're going to be moved back enough so that death can birth the new and we can get a clear view of truth. This old narrative is going to end. Truths are going to be revealed. We are going through a great awakening. We aren't ready to go to the lands beyond. We're not trustworthy yet. We have some growing to do. But all will be revealed, and that's what I'm getting, you guys. So that's what I'm getting. Take from it what you will. Toss the rest. That's how we do it. I hope that you found a little value in this. If not, a little fun. And as we end this, I'm just going to ask them, did I do as good a job as humanly possible with the knowledge and the contrast that I have to be able to look at these cards and read the messages that you wanted presented in the best way that I could present them? Please and thank you. Did I do a pretty good job getting this story across? Please and thank you. And we'll go one more, you guys. One more shuffle, I think. One more, and we'll cut them 3 times. And find out what they say about how I did, right? The King of Cups. So, with the King of Cups, I brought a lot up from the surface, they're saying. So I revealed quite a lot. The King of Cups, when done, when good, is, you know, he's brought it forward with love. And the secondary message to that is there's still a lot to be revealed and a lot that will be revealed. So that's what I'm getting, you guys. Take from it, again, you know, it's just what I'm getting, you know. Feel into your intuition. Tap into your own guidance. Take from it what resonates. Toss the rest. Doesn't hurt my feelings a bit if you disagree. We're not all meant to be the same shade of gray, right? And it's okay if some of this just doesn't resonate with you yet. So take from it what you want. And I hope that you found a little value and a little enjoyment in it anyways. And know that I love you all and I appreciate all the love and prayers. Know that I'm sending that right back to all of you. Suffering isn't new to anyone on this planet. We all love. We all lose. We all grieve. We all struggle with finances. We all struggle with health. We, you know, we're all doing the best that we can, experiencing hardship, trauma, abuse, loss, love, joy, friendship, enemies, you name it. We're all in this experience, in this together. We're not really separate from one another. It's an illusion. It's all an illusion. So we've all experienced pain and suffering, and I'm sending you all love and healing and comfort and courage and strength and peace and giant hugs. And I thank you all for your love and your support and your kind words of understanding and empathy and compassion. And know that I love you all and find you all a blessing as well. All right, you guys, have a fabulous day. I think it's Thursday. I might have said Wednesday in the beginning. Sorry, but I do know it's the 13th. My brain's been fogged. All right, you guys, I love you all. I'll see you soonish. Take care.